Starting to see a little shift in the market. Homes are sitting a little bit longer than they did this time a year ago. And so we're going to talk about why some homes just don't sell. Now I'm going to start out by saying every home will sell at a certain price, but there are some homes that are just more difficult to sell because of different reasons. And that's what we're going to go over today. Now, if you're not from our area, let's say you're from the Midwest, but you inherited a home in the Sacramento area. Well, in the Midwest, you really value a nice basement. But in the Sacramento area, there really aren't that many homes that have basements, and the ones that are older homes. And the buyers that I've been working with lately just don't want an older home because they really see it as something that it's a high maintenance home in their eyes. So I'm seeing homes that are 100 years or older sitting on the market a little bit longer unless they have had a complete full renovation. I am talking about removing all of the old wiring, all the old knob and tube wiring, replacing all of the plumbing, sewer pipes. I mean, fully going beyond just like a kitchen renovation with new appliances. Another reason I'm seeing homes sit on the market a little bit is because of the layout of the home, the functionality, the flow of the home. Buyers in our area are really liking what we call an open concept, which of course means that the kitchen is open to a family room or a living room, someplace where the rest of their family or maybe guests will be hanging out. And if they're in the kitchen preparing meals for the family or their guests, they want to be able to communicate and still feel like they're part of the family, not that they are separate and in a different compartment of the house. If you've inherited a home and the kitchen feels very separate from the rest of the space of the home, you may not have the time or the money to invest in opening it up, and that's okay. But if there is a way to open that up and you'd like to investigate it further, just reach out to us. What we want to do is make sure that it is worth your investment to even look into it. Another reason some homes just don't sell is for a reason that we've all heard before in real estate: location, location, location. And there could be 100 reasons why it is a bad location to a buyer, but some of the major reasons are because it is on a busy street or a busy street corner. It could be because there are high power lines near the home, like either, over the backyard or across the street. It could be because the house is close to something that the buyer feels is noisy, like the railroad tracks, or it's close to an airport or close to the freeway. Some buyers don't like being too close to a school because they don't like all the school traffic. And because buyers are online looking at your house, they're clicking through the neighborhood on Google Maps, seeing what's up and down the street. So if the house sits in a location that's not appealing to buyers for those reasons, the price may need to be adjusted a bit to attract another buyer. And now let's talk about garages and the importance of that. My husband is a car guy. He has a hot rod, and there was a time in our lives when we had a lot of toy vehicles too, like motorcycles and go-karts and all kinds of fun stuff. When we were shopping for our second house together, he would make a beeline to the garage with his measuring tape, and I would make a beeline to the kitchen. It was really important for him to have an attached garage that would fit the lifted I think we had 2 lifted vehicles at the time: the motorcycle, the go-kart, and the hot rod. But honestly, having an attached garage is important to me because just for the simple tasks of carrying groceries in and not having to be out in the heat or out in the rain, and knowing that my cars are parked in a safe area overnight, that's just something that I've learned to value over time too. So that's one of the things that I'm noticing other buyers really value also, especially with the push for electric vehicles in California. They want to have a place where they can park their car and plug in overnight. The other thing that I'm noticing with homes that aren't quite selling as quickly are homes that haven't been updated. And I don't know that it's really important to do a full complete remodel and renovation, but as long as everything is functioning and working and it's clean and it looks like a person can just move right in, that makes a buyer very happy in today's market. Things have gotten very expensive over the last couple of years, and I'm sure you've seen the reports that today's home buyer has to earn almost twice what they did 4 years ago in order to afford the same house. So when a buyer comes into a property and the first thing they'll see is the paint color, they'll start to register dollar signs, and that is why a home might sit a little bit longer. So if we have 2 homes sitting side by side tied together in a neighborhood, and they're similar as far as floor plan, and one has been updated and the list price might be a little higher, where the other one hasn't been updated and maybe the carpets are a little soiled and the walls are kind of a bright color, but it's offered at a lower price. A lot of times buyers are willing to pay that extra price if they know that they can just move right in the day they get the keys. Again, you may not have the time or the ability to invest in doing a few of the updates, but today we're just talking about the reason why some homes sit on the market longer than others. Some of the things that are big expenses to buyers are things like the roof, the central heat and air system, and windows if the windows need to be replaced because they're failing or they're single pane. Today's buyers have less money to spend on those things than they did a few years ago. And I'm noticing that they're willing to wait until a house with those updates and renovations comes on the market rather than jumping into a house that needs a lot of repairs. Another reason I'm seeing some homes sit a little bit longer is actually something that surprised me, and that is some homes in certain HOAs are sitting a little bit longer than homes that are in a neighborhood just outside of that HOA. And it's surprising to me because not too long ago, it was the HOA neighborhoods that people were really seeking out. And the reason people enjoyed living in these areas is because they felt secure, because sometimes in certain HOAs there was security or it was a gated community. They often were lower maintenance homes because the yards were smaller, so there wasn't a whole lot to take care of. Or in some HOA communities, the HOA actually takes care of the front yard maintenance. And often people also liked that there was a standard look to the community. Homes had to be kept up, and that kept up home value. But now people don't like the restrictions that are in a lot of the HOA communities. And when you add the ever increasing monthly fees, it makes it less affordable for today's home buyer. So rather than spending $200, $250, $300 a month to live in an HOA community where they don't see that there's a return on their investment, they would rather put that $300, $500 a month towards their mortgage. Now, I want you to know that every objection I've gone over that I've heard from buyers in this market can be overcome by price if the buyer feels like the value is there. And almost every objection can be overcome by investing in the property. But you need to know first if it's worth it to invest in the property. And the way that we do this, and if you know me already, you know what I'm going to say, is that you take a look at the value of what the property could sell for. You do all the updates, the repairs, the renovations, and then you take a look at what it's going to cost you to do that, as well as the time it takes to do those renovations, repairs, and then you determine if it's worth it. And finally, another reason why some homes sit on the market a little longer than others is because of marketing. Even if a home is in poor condition, it's raining through the ceiling and the cabinets are missing the cabinet doors, but the home is priced right, that home is still deserving of good photographs, video, beautiful color brochures, and a good online presence that gets as many eyes on that property as possible. And that's our job as an agent. And if you're outside of the Sacramento area and you would like to be connected with an agent that is a top-notch marketer in your area, please reach out to us. I'm happy to refer you to somebody that I know and just see if it's a good connection for you. I'm curious where you're from. Let me know in the comments below. And if you're starting to see homes sit on the market just a little bit longer, it's not happening in all parts of the Sacramento area. There are certain communities that I'm seeing it a little more than others. And I think it has to do with a little bit of everything. We have the NAR settlement. It's an election year. We have an affordability problem. There's a lot going on right now. So if you're noticing a little shift in the market, comment below where you're from, what you're noticing, and I'll see you in the next video.